It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
I herald the Evan edition. I herald Zack Attack reviews. I herald the Fantastic Four First Step spoiler discussion. Let's go!
I wasn't ready for that. I was just jamming to the Evan edition.
I know. It is a jam.
The Evan
it's
edition.
A bop. It's a bop for sure.
Definitely.
How are you, my friend? How is your weekend going?
I'm doing good. Good weekend. Fantastic Four, cleaning. Yep. And now I'm live streaming, and I'm excited to talk about this movie.
I am very excited to talk about this. If the title and the weird intro wasn't a, spoiler enough for you, this whole thing is going to be a spoiler discussion of Fantastic Four First Step. So if you have not seen it, please exit quietly. And if you have, please comment and be here for the ride, because this is going to be so fun. We have been waiting for this movie for so long. Just like with Superman, we are finally here. It is in the bag. The weekend is done. And I saw it twice this weekend. I saw it on Thursday opening night and yesterday, which I have not done for a movie. I was talking with my wife about this since Spider-Man No Way Home during the holidays. Yeah, so I loved it. But yeah, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about, our overall feelings of the movie. We're going to break down some key parts that we really enjoyed, the characters. We're going to go through the Fantastic Four themselves, the villains, and everything in between. So before we get started, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping and give a shout out to my wife, Erica. Nice. Because without her support, this show would not be possible. I find myself, and I have a profound respect for the people that do this kind of content and put it out there and work on it. It's not easy work. And when you have support, it really goes a long way. And when I'm, doing my out of the theater reaction and then posting it and, adding a background and adding the title and adding the hashtags and all this stuff. And my wife is in the car like, are we going to go home and feed the dog or what's... So I have to say thank you very much to her for putting up with me, for going to the movies with me, and for the support. It means the world. So hopefully she's seeing this, but I know she will, because she is a fan as well, because she's such a great support. So had to give her a shout out. On top of that, the best thing about the theater sometimes is the swag that you get from the different theaters. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit. Did you get anything from any of the theaters that you went to?
Oh, I didn't get anything. They were slacking and lacking. They usually have keychains and posters and stuff. Nothing.
Where did you go to see the movie?
I went to the same Regal I always go to. The nicest staff ever. Really comfortable seats.
Very nice
swag
staff.
This time.
I have to give a shout to Regal because they really outdid themselves. And I want to show you guys something, okay? These are for 4DX. I did not see it in 4DX. However, and I'm going to show you in a second, I did not see it in 4DX. However, I am extremely friendly with a lot of the staff that I see normally. It is important to have a lot of these people love movies. They're working there for a reason. So see how they're doing. See how they like the movie themselves. Have a conversation with them, because they are extremely hardworking people and they deserve your respect and a simple "how are you?" And so these were actually blind boxes of the 4 Fantastic Four character pins. The first one that I
Open your
opened,
pen.
and I didn't go. They were just very, very nice to me. Hooked it up. The first one I opened was Reed Richards.
That pen is fly.
Clean, right?
Clean.
They outdid themselves, bro. My friend went to a theater. He lives in Florida. He showed me his, and it was kind of like a patch, like a sewn one.
Yeah.
And when I showed him it, and as I was in the theater, like texting him, he was like, "Damn, that's way cleaner." I'm like, I was debating. I didn't want to make you feel bad. The next blind box is my actually surprise favorite character of the movie besides Reed. Johnny Storm.
Hey. Good
Yes,
old Johnny.
sir. Good old Johnny. So shout out to Regal, who absolutely crushed it. And then you can see, the other ones on here, like The Thing and Sue. Really, really
Like he's the
cool.
only one in color.
I love that. I love that. That's now seeing it, I'm like, damn, that would have been clean. Beggars can't be choosers, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Last night, I saw the movie again at Alamo Drafthouse. Do you guys have an Alamo Drafthouse?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. They had this for free.
Ooh, that's my favorite poster.
Right?
That's so good.
So I have one back there, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Boop. Next to the popcorn bucket. I haven't placed it.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new studio as well. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I don't need to kick my wife out of the living room when we record. And like Zach was saying, I got some stuff that represents me.
Yeah.
And all the posters and fun stuff that you get. If you can see back there, I texted you that picture of me as Superman from Six Flags.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah. So thank you very much. I love being, this feels like home, right? This is how it's supposed to go. So, without further ado, though, let's get into it. Evan has talked enough. It's time to find out what Zach's overall impressions were of the movie. I guess I'm gonna talk not at you, just about you in third person, kind
of. I loved it. I had so much fun with this movie because not only did it nail the comic book feel, it feels like it was pulling straight from the comics in terms of interpreting the characters. Obviously, it's not one particular exact storyline, but it felt fully realized in a way where the MCU has their own version of that. So it's like, yeah, we have the comic version. They're like the comic version, but this is the MCU version. And that's when the MCU is firing all cylinders, when I can recognize what I love, but it's also slightly different. And I thought all the characters had great chemistry together. I saw some people talking about that Sue and Reed didn't have great chemistry. And I was like, they had wonderful chemistry for what their relationship is like. A emotionally inept guy who's all about facts versus someone that's more of a motherly type. There's going to be some conflict there, but they love each other despite all that. And then everybody's relationship with each other. The little robot was so cute and adorable. And I was scared. I was like, do not destroy this robot. Please don't do that. And I thought the villains were really great. Galactus finally becoming fully realized and being very, very scary. And this has some of the best looking action in the MCU that we've gotten in a long time. And period, honestly. There's a chase sequence in here that's chef's kiss.
100%. And we're going to definitely dive into that because there's a lot in that whole sequence of going to Galactus, the negotiation, the chase, the giving birth in space. It was insanely beautiful. So I cannot wait to get into that. And I have to agree with the same sentiments. My overall impression of this movie, and just my overall feelings watching it, especially twice, which I don't do because I'm broke and these are expensive to go see. But it was worth it because when I saw the movie, the characters felt like people that you had always known but then something new at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Not only that, I really felt like, you know, it's so hard not to talk about Superman because these bad boys came out 2 weeks between each other.
Yeah. And they're very
However,
similar.
very, very similar. Both Silver Age, both sci-fi, both good, both very good. And so,
Yeah.
and both short, both didn't outstay their welcome. And so what I was saying in that regard though was how I view it is Superman is a very good comic book movie. Fantastic Four is a very good film, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I have not been able to say that about a Marvel movie in a very long time. It started to sound like that with Thunderbolts, but this really took it to another level where I felt like I was seeing something in the vein of Interstellar, something in the vein of the sci-fi movies that I grew up watching, like Alien and the things that I really love. And so I mean that in a very, very nice way, in the sense that we used to say that when we would see Winter Soldier, and we had not really felt that way. You know, as a whole, there's some people that love this stuff, and I love that and I respect it. And once again, me and Zach like to iterate. These are just our opinions. Everyone has their own opinions, but the point is to respect everyone and hear them out, because that's the best part about these conversations. So I understand if it hit you in a different way. This is just how it made us feel in our opinions.
Yeah.
Other than that, the dialogue was really good. The visuals and the VFX were very good. The character development and the depth was really good. And the pacing of the movie was really good. I never found myself being like, oh, it's kind of dragging here. Like, oh, we've been here for a while. Like, everything felt very organic in the way that the story developed. And I really appreciated that about the movie. Who wrote this bad boy? That's what I want to know.
Isn't it the person that did WandaVision?
Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, and Jeff Kaplan. And of course, this wouldn't happen without anyone, Jack Kirby. This is a huge love letter to our boy, our Captain Jack Kirby. Man. This is straight from his mind, and it's just so unfortunate that he wasn't able to see his stuff come to fruition, because I really think he'd be proud. I really do. I don't know him from Adam, you know what I mean? But just the representation of his ideas, his cosmic view. I
agree.
It looked like Jack Kirby on screen.
Because Stan Lee got to see a lot of his creations live action, and Jack Kirby didn't really get a chance to. So I agree with you.
I love that for Stan. I do. Yeah. So now that we've given our overall impressions, let's talk a little bit and dive into some of the characters that we really loved. And then while we do that, we can talk about some scenes that we really loved involving the characters. And the first one that I wanted to dive into was our boy Reed Richards, who for some reason it's not here.
We'll pull up.
Here we go. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I'm just going to say right away, there was a lot of hesitation going into this from diehard fans that didn't really see Pedro as Reed. You know what I mean? We kept getting, Pedro's and everything. Here we go again. Another Pedro Pascal casting. It kind of irks some people.
There's a video online of a girl going to the theater, and there's a stand-in for Fantastic Four, and there's two posters of the Materialist and Eddington with his face on it right next to each other. And it's just like, this man has 3 movies in the theaters right
I
now
saw
playing at the
that.
same time. And
Yeah.
he has Freaky Tales that just got on rental, which is another movie he was on in this
I
year.
need to see that, bro. As someone from the Bay, I need to see that desperately.
Yeah.
He's in everything. And so we're like, okay, like it's kind of older too. I thought we were gonna like go younger so we could see the Fantastic Four for a long time. Well, I can sit here and safely say, for my own opinion, Reed is probably the most realistic character in the movie. And what I mean by that is, he's represented as someone, obviously on the spectrum, the smartest man in the universe. And really the first time this character has been shown that being the smartest man in the universe is a blessing and a curse.
Yep.
In the way that Pedro showed it, the way that he spoke, are we going to be safe? I don't know. Like this kind of stuff, it really was like, wow, he transformed into someone that like is so analytical and thinks about so many possibilities and is so much in his own head that it affects the people that he loves around him.
Yeah.
And you can even see the guilt on his face when he's talking, to his boy, played magnificently by Eben Moss-Baccarat.
Yeah.
Just the guilt of him looking this way and what happened to them. I want to pick your brain. I have a lot more to talk about, but I want to pick your brain. What did you like about Reed? And did you, love the character as much as I'm glazing him up,
Oh, I loved it. And I think Reed is a very complicated character to nail, because in the comics, he does have that coldness. And I never thought about him being on the spectrum. But yeah, to be the smartest person in the universe, you have to be hyper focused. And that is something where a lot of people on the spectrum have that. And they're so smart. And when he was casted, first I was like, huh. But then the role that I saw him in was The Last of Us as Joel, and that's where I was like, he can play Reed, because Joel and Reed are similar in the fact that they're very straightforward, they're very goal oriented, they're very cold, and they have a trouble balancing their emotions versus their mission and what they want to do. And sometimes they do things that hurt the people that they love, even though they have good intentions. So I said, if he can transfer that energy that he has with Joel, which he plays really great in Last of Us, and just transfer it over to Reed, which is what he did, I think he's going to knock it out of the park. And now I can't really see anyone else taking the role. Like, I know a lot of people wanted John Krasinski to play Reed, but I think John Krasinski looks like Reed from the comics, but I don't think he has... I don't think I've ever seen him do anything in his acting career where he can actually play the character. Because a lot of people fan cast based off looks and not acting ability. And I think Pedro Pascal did such a great job of doing what he needed to do, where I wasn't distracted that it was Pedro Pascal. I felt like, okay, this is Reed Richards. And he did a wonderful job pulling all that off.
I completely agree. There was a part... And I'm going back to what you said too a little bit about people thinking that him and Sue's relationship, there wasn't any chemistry. I completely disagree. I think their relationship is what drove. I mean, it drove the movie forward. The family's relationship in general is really the strongest asset to this movie. The way that Reed, though, plays off of the entire cast was incredible. And I'll just go down a little bit. Like I was pointing to before, the conversation that he was having with Ben, one, it was so beautiful to see that he has that guilt, and no matter how much great things they've done and how comfortable Ben is in his own skin, rock skin, he still has this deep, deep guilt of what he did to his loved ones. And so you can read that in such subtle ways in the way that he had that conversation with Ben while looking out the window. On top of that, there's times with Sue where he's just so analytical and so honest and he has no filter that sometimes it's really funny. Like when he's like, oh, like the only thing I really did was make the suit bigger. I mean, and she's like smiling, like, dude,
She was
'cause
like, "What?"
she knows him so well. She's like,
Yeah,
there he goes, no filter.
he didn't mean it in a mean way. It's just that's literally what I did. Like that's all it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And so for me, I really thought Pedro just knocked it out of the park, and oh man, it's hard not to like talk about Pedro because we're talking about other characters because they're so connected and they're so like
yeah.
lived in this universe that the relationships feel real. But
A lot of his role is interacting with other characters in the movie. He's kind of
yeah,
the glue here, where he doesn't
the
really have a
leader.
singular. He doesn't have a singular. Everybody has kind of like a singular storyline, except him.
Mhm.
Everything is about how he interacts with everybody. Plus, that conversation he had with Franklin was just like, "Ooh, this is there we go. We got the core of this character right here. I can
Yeah.
see where they're gonna play on this in the Avenger movies and the movie forward. They really
Mhm.
set up a Tony Stark like character for them to have for another 10 years." In that one conversation.
Yeah. What I was, and I love what you just said too about Tony because Pedro is going to be our lead, our Iron Man moving forward. And there's so many similarities and differences at the same time to Iron Man. You know, the analytical, the intelligence, the love he has for others, the protective nature, armor around the world. Like Reed feels the same way, but they go so differently about it. And so
Yeah.
I love that juxtaposition of these two characters. And the second time when I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking in regards of like what's next, like this is our lead for Doomsday. And I'm like, wow, like he's so different than Tony and so similar at the same time that it works. It works so well. And I love that aspect of the leadership of Reed Richards, of Pedro as
Uh,
Reed Richards. And then something that I also really liked is, his relationship with Johnny. This is his brother-in-law, and there wasn't a ton of scenes, but the scenes that they did have together, you can tell that there's this like back and forth,
Standoffish. Yeah.
standoffish, like tension, like love, obviously underlying
Yeah.
everything, but like, you know, he's so wrapped up in his work. Johnny's like, dude, I want to go back to space. Like, I want the new suit you promised. Like, like, where you at, dude? Like, I kind of have to like always like pull you back in to like have a
Yeah.
conversation with me, get a meeting with me. And so I love those
The fact that it has
moments
to be a meeting like you have to
just to
schedule
talk
you
to
in.
his brother-in-law.
The law. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of thing like I love you, but maybe I don't like you. Like you
Yeah.
have those people who you like. I love you because you're family, but I don't necessarily like you. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna limit how we.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it was so organic and so natural in the way that they communicated with each other. On top of that, we were talking a little bit about how this is a blessing and a curse, his brain. And hey, collector movie man, how's it going? Can't wait for you to see the movie, but we gonna be spoiling, so be careful, brother. I just wanted to say, like, you know, his relationship with Sue is really beautiful in the sense that like they get each other. They get each other more than anyone else does that they know and that they love. And there's that moment, after the whole, Galactus thing and wanting Franklin and trying to decide what the right move is, where she's like, you thought of it. You thought of like I know you. You thought of the option of giving him Franklin and what that means. Like that. And she's like, yeah, like I can't help it. Like something is wrong with me. That is how my brain works. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, she's like, that's who I am. That's me being me. And she's like, well, you being you sometimes hurts me. And I'm like, damn, that really just hit me right in the heart. Like that was so deep and so real. You know what I mean?
It's so natural. Like every interaction that happened here, whether it's best friend talking, husband and wife talking,
Right.
brother-in-law and whatever-in-law talking, it
Mhm.
felt like real people. It didn't feel like movie people doing it. It felt like, yeah, this is really a family. It's messy. It's maybe not as messy as it could be because they're all like proper and stuff like that. But
Right.
it feels really grounded in a way where like you have to do that in this movie that's talking about gods from billions of years and a lady that's in all silver
Right.
and
Cosmic
teleporting the planet
baby.
from one place. Yeah, you gotta ground it somewhere where you care about these characters that are going through this insane situation that none of us could ever even imagine.
And you said it yourself, you know, and I totally agree. Like if this movie was just you take away the cosmic, you take away the sci-fi, it's just these characters living their lives, it's still entertaining as all hell. And you were
Yeah,
saying it, you know, with Vanessa Kirby, who was in that Netflix movie,
pieces of a
uh
woman.
Pieces of a Woman, where when they're arguing back and forth about what to do and her protective instincts with her baby, um, it seemed like not even a Marvel movie at that point. It really felt like something smaller, something grounded and real.
Yeah,
And I think that is what works so well with this movie. And it wouldn't have worked without these actors embodying these characters so well. And so, with that said, I want to transition to our girl, Sue.
MVP. Yeah, that's a funny picture to transition to, but
I know.
MVP.
I had to show her O face.
But that's not the good old face. This is a really bad. Well, not bad, but it's painful. That's the.
I got you. I got you. Where is dude? Where was all the okay? Here we go. The MVP. Okay.
Oh
Um,
man,
you know, what a great picture. What a great,
yeah,
you know, and we're going to be talking about this through the whole conversation, but the visuals in this movie are just
some of the best.
outstanding and some of the best. And I really think the way they use their powers, even though it wasn't too much, they didn't lean on the powers for the
Yeah,
spectacle. Every time they did, it was masterful. And so with Sue, who is this profound leader who is, you know, talking at the you know, the UN or whatever, and you know, being a mother when she got back, but all these things, Vanessa Kirby just absolutely crushed it
nailed
as
it.
this character. And I already, you know, spilled the beans with the O face picture, but I want to dive a little bit into her stellar performance giving birth in space to her baby, which was
While being
just
chased.
while being chased, which was just like incredible. So I don't know if you want to. I felt like Sue was a good in to start, but if you want to start in general with your overall feelings of, you know, this chase scene in general, and then
Yeah,
Sue of it all, and then Silver of it all. There's just so much to get into, but why don't
yeah,
you take us a little bit into the pregnancy or the birth scene and the chase scene?
yeah. I think that from once the whole movie is great, but the peak part of this movie is once Silver Surfer shows up and warns the Earth what's going to
Right.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Up until they get away after visiting him is the best section of the movie because there's
100%.
so much tension when she comes. Julia Gardner is doing a phenomenal job delivering this monologue that feels like an omen, like shit's about to go down. They go to Galactus, and what I love about that scene of them seeing this planet get destroyed, it was like this would have happened to Earth if the Eternals lost, because Galactus is a celestial just like all of them. And then
Yeah.
they finally go to Galactus, and he's this giant being. Because
Yeah.
when I saw the trailer, I thought he was going to be too small, but he was not too small. He was
People were
huge.
complaining, I saw still, that he was too small. I'm like, you guys know he can grow, right? Like I bet
Yeah,
he gets bigger, but I think they wanted it to feel in a sci-fi movie somewhat tangible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. We didn't actually see him grow and get bigger. I think that was the
no,
problem.
yeah, we didn't see it, which it would have been good. You're right. It would have been good for some context to just shut up the haters, but it
Yeah.
didn't take me out of it because obviously we
Me
know
neither.
Galactus, his head is as big as Earth. Like he will eat
Exactly.
that planet. So
Yeah.
I like what they did here, and I like
Yeah.
how they took us into it. Like you said, once Silver Surfer comes out, is introduced, and then they go up to, debate with him. I guess we got taken back a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, it wasn't even a bargain, but Silver Surfer takes her in and they go to speak to him. Then it was like, oh wow, like the ship, like
Yeah.
everything kind of looked to me like it reminded me of Infinity War a little bit in the sense that like
Mm.
the Thanos's homeworld, like the scope got bigger, everything got more epic, and then we see them get to Galactus and the voice, man, the voice. I
Oh,
know we were going to talk about Sue, so it's hard to
but
talk
it
about
leads
all.
into it. It leads into it. Yeah.
It does. It does. So, what do you think? Just initial thoughts about coming in to Galactus's ship, and then this scene where you're just staring up. Silver Surfer's in there, straight rip from the comics, by the way. But
Straight up.
yeah, give me your overall impression. Just this felt so good, dude.
Yeah. Once the ship went through the planet, I felt like I was in good hands. At first, I was like, let's see how this goes. But then when that went through, it did that, and it looked so realistic. I was like, okay, I'm in good hands. I'm strapped in. As a Star Trek fan, I really appreciate this because this ship and everything in it reminded me of the Borgs. If for Star Trek lovers out there that know that, it felt like the Borg ship and how that operates and how that looks. So I thought that was really really cool, kind of like a reference for him. And then as they traveled through it, it just looked like old tech. It looked
It
like
did.
old sci-fi tech. No, like it makes sense because he's from billions and billions from the
Right.
past. So it makes sense that he wouldn't have tech that would look like what they have right now, which I guess they're in not the 60s, but like in the future, but they stayed
Alt,
in the
alt.
60s
Yeah, exactly. Alt
culturally.
futuristic 60s. The world of
Yeah,
tomorrow, right?
the world of tomorrow. And then they go up to him. He has this booming voice, Rafe Innocent, I think his name, or Ralph Innocent.
Yeah, Ralph. Innocent.
Amazing voice. And I saw him in Nosferatu last year, and that's his voice. They didn't have to do any altering. They didn't have to do it. He speaks like that. He has this commanding, scary, gravelly,
Perfect
booming
casting.
voice.
Perfect.
Perfect casting. Not only does he look like Galactus, which I didn't even think about, like someone has to look like Galactus because he has a helmet, but he just has the I don't know, the commanding voice
Gravitas.
the gravitas, and the fact that it's him but blown up because he took a picture and showed himself in the suit with socks on, which I thought was funny. They absolutely nailed it, and I think they set up the stakes of
Yeah.
this film
With his
really really
daughter.
well. Yeah, with his daughter, I thought that was adorable.
Yeah.
I think they set up the stakes for this movie really really well with that conversation because he's like he's not evil, he's cursed. He's an entity in this universe that has to do this thing
He
because he's
has to
cursed.
feed. He has the
Yes,
curse of this hunger. And I
yeah.
love that what you're leading to is that the dialogue, it wasn't so heavy-handed, but
Mm-hmm.
you get everything about him in those short sentences of
Yeah.
why he is the way he is and where he came from. I used to be as small as you guys, and now you have someone in you that can take this curse from me and I can just retire peacefully and this curse can go on to someone else who can take the throne because I'm kind of tired of this. Like I don't want this. I need this. I crave it. And so it's like in those few sentences you understand who this person is
Right away.
completely, and above everything else, he is not an effing cloud.
No, not at all. You can see him clearly.
That's a win in itself.
I can see him clearly. Rain is gone.
Exactly. And so I love the overall scene. I love, Galactus and him are
What's
so
that?
tied together, and her leading them through. It was just like, here we go. Like, we're going to get to the good stuff. And they're showing us these big sets, and it didn't look like, um,
Green screen.
yeah, it didn't look green screen or like the volume stage. That's what I was trying to think
Yeah.
of. It felt real. And then on top of that, like the space suits, it felt organic. And I love what you
Yeah.
said, because I thought the same thing last night, where I was like, this feels like Star Trek. This
Yeah.
feels so Trekky, and this feels epic and beautiful. And Star Trek was also good at the advancement of technology and spectacle and the human stories at the same time. And
Yep.
even these suits, like, they're not overly done. Like, they're very simple, but they're so detailed, and it
Yeah.
gives like the texture of the movie like something else to like really hold on to. And I thought that
Yeah.
was like such a smart move, man. The costume designs, like, chef's kiss, man.
Just kiss.
They did such a great job. So
Their
I love,
regular costumes in the trailer, I was like, but in the context of the movie, I was like,
yeah,
love it.
yeah. Like I don't know, like in the blue, like the white stripe on
Yeah.
Johnny in that initial picture of them at the dinner table, and he had it on. And I'm like, but in the movie, I'm like, this works. This works
Yeah.
so well. And what I've been hearing from other fans of why this is peak Marvel again is everything was firing on all cylinders, like down to the costume design, to the sets, to the actors, to the story. And so getting back to this scene, now that we're going to set up this chase, Galactus gives the ultimatum, give me your baby or I will destroy your world, and I'll do it slowly since you're not listening to me. Everyone listens to me, or I eat them. You guys need to listen to me. What the heck? And they're like,
And there's an
absolutely
example
not.
of that later on with him taking Shala Ball.
Yeah.
Like, look, I left her planet alone. So it's not like I'm going to go and not do it for you guys. Just give me what I want.
Exactly. And so all hell breaks loose. They get out of there and the chase starts, right? And we get this beautiful, like, classic Silver Surfer outstretched, reaching, which is just so straight from the comics.
Yeah.
And then Grace is into her pregnant belly because she starts inducing once Galactus finds the baby. There's some connection there, some cosmic connection. Yeah. And so they're getting out of there. They're going through the wormhole. Did I get rid of that? That epic shot. And so this whole scene is just like, wow, man. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, the spectacle, the overall like stress of, one, the chase, two, like the wormhole. It's epic, it's bright, it's beautiful. Three, she's giving birth while this is all happening.
Yes. Just stressed out on all levels.
I'm like holding my wife's hand, like, this is really stressful. You can feel her, you can feel it. I'm sorry, I gotta go back to it, bro. Like, it's this is such great acting. Back to Vanessa being such good casting. And so all this is happening. Silver Surfer surfing scenes within the wormhole are just absolutely
finally
beautiful.
Silver Surfer surfing. Why was that not a thing before?
Exactly. So I just want to know your initial thoughts when you saw this and you were in it. What was the feeling that you had in this like beautiful, spectacular chase scene?
Once, so the setup to the chase scene was amazing when they had to get back into the little transporter thing, and they had to roughly get inside because they had to rush.
Interstellar, right there, right? Connected.
Yeah, it was fair. That's why I keep saying it feels like they were inspired by Interstellar plus Star Trek, and from that, movies are great when you know, like, oh, these characters can't die right now, but you forget, and you feel like, oh my god, they're in danger. Like, I
Yeah.
completely forgot that this is not the end of the movie, and they're gonna survive this, because it just set it up so well that, oh crap, they're in danger. Something might happen. Franklin might die. Who knows? This might not even be
Yeah.
Franklin. They never said the name of the baby yet, so this could be a baby. It dies, and they get Franklin. All these thoughts are going through my head,
Yep.
and then they go into the wormhole. They're shooting at Silver Surfer. She's surfing on the wormhole, and I turn to my friend who went with me, Clay, and I go, "This is amazing." And as soon as I said that, they come out of the wormhole and we see the black hole. And I'm like, oh my God.
That was incredible, man.
Incredible.
It
Fantastic.
looked so beautiful. It was fantastic. We're gonna be saying fantastic a lot. It was just so beautiful and jarring, you know, the pain of birth. I mean, we're men, we can't speak on it by any means,
Yeah.
but we have loved ones that we came from. We you know, to understand the pain in space, in zero gravity, so you have nothing to hold on to or thrust, all of it coming together. And then, you know, and man, we'll just go to it. Like, I love the thing in this. Ben is just, and I don't mean to do it, but I'm like, damn, he really is this family's rock. So much so
Yeah.
that, like, you know, in the spaceship when they're lifting off, like, you know, he has this rapport with Sue, like 3, 2, 1, initiate, you know, and it's like, it's just
Yeah.
so like they know each
Easy.
other so well, and he knows everyone. He's at the dinner table, like, you're pregnant. Like, look at my best friend's face. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to deliver, he says, Ben knows, okay, it's time. He comes on over, right, to deliver the baby. And it was like, you have this sense of relief. It feels so grounded and so real. And the family's there, like, around her. And you're like, wow, like, that was intense. That was
Yeah.
wild. They trapped Silver Surfer beautifully. And it was like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You know, and it was like,
It's
that
just
looked
sucked.
awesome. And
Yeah.
they gave the exposition of a month very quickly. So you're like, okay, cool. They got a month to get her trapped and get back. So we're getting
Yeah.
time juxtaposition. And then it's like, wow, Franklin is born. All this just happened. Like
During a mission.
like this was wild, right? So I just thought, like, the sequence in general was one of the best sequences in Marvel history. I thought it was,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a battle. Every great Marvel sequence, most of them, it's a battle. It's an
Yeah.
action scene. This is a chase scene and a giving birth scene, which is like, that's different than what we're
Yeah.
accustomed to. So
Civil War has a great chase scene. And that probably was the best chase scene in the MCU up until this.
I'm trying to think. Civil War.
when Black Panther's chasing Winter
Oh,
Soldier and
100%.
Cap is chasing Black Panther.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. That was a great chase scene. So I can't speak highly enough about this whole sequence. It was beautiful. It was a spectacle. It was small in heartfelt and beautiful in the sense of giving birth in space, and how that relates to Franklin, who is a cosmic force to be reckoned with, who's like, I was born in space, you know, like, now he can
Yeah.
say that. And so it's just like, awesome. The next thing that happens, which is pretty much the crux to the second half of the movie, is when they get back, you know, Reed, being who he is, makes the choice to tell the entire world that he could have saved them, that there was an option. And he tells them the option was to give up the baby and it'll save the entire world. And they said no. And they told everyone. And now everyone turns on them for all the times they saved them. Out the window. Doesn't matter. Give up your baby so we can survive. And it's such a beautiful crux because it shows just what it is to be a superhero and how fair weather it can be, that when you're winning, it's all good. And when you're not winning, they will turn on you in an instant. The little bit of Green Goblin, what he said in the first Spider-Man,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? They love you now, but they'll turn on you. And
And I think this was handled better. And I hate to bring up Superman. I think this was handled better in this film than in the way they did it in Superman,
I
where
agree.
like
I agree.
he just finished saving them. He just finished saving them, and then this random recording is played, and they're like throwing cans at his head. I was like, hold on.
Yeah. He like thrusted the monster so it didn't fall, and then it was like, videos out, we hate you. This is more like, you're not going to save us, but you always save us. That's what we know you guys for. If you're not saving us, what good are you to us?
We just celebrated you. What are you doing?
Yeah, like,
Give him the damn baby.
what were you doing for a month? You know, and it's like, wow, this is so great. Like, what a great world to live in, to truly show the double-edged sword of being a superhero when it comes to the love of fans, when it
Yeah.
comes to the love of fans of comic book movies, of comic books, of movies in general, that one day you're on top and everyone loves everything that you're putting out, and you have a miss or a couple, and now they don't like you anymore. And
Yeah,
maybe that was a little tongue in cheek at the fans.
maybe.
But it was a very great way to transition into the next half of the movie, which is, now what, right? What
Yeah.
do we do now that we're not giving the baby and people hate us for it? And so
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit about this scene. Did I get it? I thought I did. I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you thought of Sue
Mhm.
going in to the crowd
Mm.
and basically telling them what's what.
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or a cold take. This scene solidified this as the best version of Sue Storm. And I'm not talking about live action. I'm talking about period. Sue has been a character that has been used as a love triangle person, or someone for Reed to beat on, or someone to just be the mother of everybody. But she's never been an equal to me for the most part. Maybe there's comics where she kind of been an equal, but throughout this movie, from the beginning up until this point to the end of the film, she was always an equal to Reed in a way that is different from how he interacts. And I think that Vanessa Kirby and the writing of this film made this the best version of Sue. And the way they did this conversation, grounding these characters in their tragedy that they have, because I don't really think the Fantastic Four really talks about why they never talk about their parents, the fact that they did lose their parents, and relating that to, like, you know, I found family in outside my family, and we realized in finding that family that you guys are our family, and we will never sacrifice you to protect ourselves, and we're not going to sacrifice our baby to protect you. We'll figure it out. And that was an amazing, the way it was written, how they had reading them come down after the show support. His whole face is so hilarious. How Reed thing and Human Torch come down to like support
Listen,
them.
like, yeah, listen
Good.
and be behind her, you know, like,
Yeah,
support and listen and be like, she's got this. She is not just Franklin's mother. She's like our mother. She's our leader. It's not
yeah,
just Reed. And I
yeah,
completely agree that this is the moment. And I don't think it came off as hokey,
no,
that, and obviously, you know, in real life, like, there's people that are still going to talk crap, but
yeah, yeah,
this is the moment where she's like, you guys are our family.
yeah,
And when have we ever done that to you? You know, like, we've always had your back. It's time for you to have ours. I know you're scared, and we will get through this. We will find a way, like we always have. It's time to trust us and put that stuff
yeah,
away. And so the way that she went about it, you know, braving the crowd with her baby, her family supporting her down there, it was a really cool moment, I thought. And it was really just like a moment to show that just like with Reed, his greatest power is not the power that he got from the cosmic, incident that happened.
Mhm.
Her greatest power is the way that she relates to people, the way that she helps people, and the way that she can
Mm,
speak publicly. Like she is like a politician, that
yeah,
you can trust, that puts their money where their mouth is, that makes a difference, it's not just talk. And
yeah,
so I thought it was cool. But I really thought the most important thing was it demonstrated why Sue is such a great leader. And
yeah.
no movie has ever done that for this character. And that's it. No, I'm just kidding. And
I
so,
no, it's true. It's true.
yeah, on top of that, there's been a few more things that I really like before we get into the climax of the film. I think this is a better way than the characters is going through the film together. Um, so they talk a little bit about, well, I need levers, Archimedes levers, right? And they're like, did he lose his mind? And and at the same time, Johnny, who I really love in this movie, and I think it's a
Yeah,
perfect time to talk a little bit about Johnny.
yeah,
But Johnny is trying to tell the family, like, I listened to her language. And when they were in the ship with Galactus, and she says, like, die with your own, or is that what it is? Die with your own?
yeah. It's die with for your love, or no?
Die
I
with
think it's die with your own.
Die with a smile. No, I'm just kidding. And so he's like, I have a sentence. And this is from what she said. Like, I can figure out the language. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, Johnny's an astronaut too.
Yeah,
Johnny isn't
it's a
just
scientist.
a ladies' man and a womanizer and blah, blah, blah. All the things that we know about Johnny. Johnny is an extremely intelligent person. And
Yeah,
so I really love that he had this moment where he's going to figure out what the language is and use this in some kind of way.
yeah,
And on top of that, I really just enjoyed the representation of Johnny in this movie, because a lot of people were scared, like, oh, he's not going to be a womanizer, like, that's not my Johnny. It's like, but he is a ladies' man, he is a horn dog, like, he had that, but he's more
yeah,
than that as a character in the comics.
yeah,
And this really showed him as an essential part of this group, as a very intelligent person, and as someone who's like hella fun to be around. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
what did you think about, one, Johnny, deciphering the language and stuff, and then overall Joseph Quinn's representation of this character in the movie?
I thought Joseph Quinn was great. The comedic timing, the facial expressions, his chemistry with everyone. He really brought the humor and the light in the film. And also, Johnny often get time is cornered off as the non-scientist, as not as smart as everyone else. Even in the comics, they do this to him as just the ladies' man with the fire powers. And I love that they showed, like, yeah, he's a ladies' man. Maybe he's a womanizer, um, but he's also smart and he has a purpose on this team other than being able to turn on fire. He can help with the science stuff because all four of them are great in different ways. And I love seeing him help um, Reed with the egg experiment. I love that he's the one that ends up figuring out the language because he's so into women. For him to now figure out how to speak to an alien woman. Oh, spoiler alert! Speak to an alien woman. I thought that was really really great, and I think this
Gotcha.
was a really good. I was like, we're not talking about that yet.
Throwing you off.
And I thought they did a really great job on him as a character front. I think maybe they could have used his powers a little bit more.
I
But
do
as a
too.
character, he's great.
I do too. I do too. I think I would have liked it, but like I said, I thought that with all the characters that we could have saw a little bit more of the power usage. I just think they were just
Yeah,
really trying to drive home that this isn't about the powers. This is about the people. You know what I mean? And so I totally get that, but Doomsday, we better see some more fantastic powers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So but yeah, no, I love that about Johnny. And I love that he's kind of our through to finding out more about Silver Surfer and her
yeah,
background. That was a really smart way to do it because not only are they giving more depth to Johnny, but now they're giving more depth to Silver Surfer and
yeah,
Julia Garner, who was played beautifully. Oh, I already said it by Julia Garner. And so I really loved how, Johnny deciphers the language. And then when she comes after their baby, Johnny is able to use this to be like, call her out by her name, Shala Ball.
yeah,
And now for all the haters who were like, why is it a girl? Like, blah, blah, blah. Now we know for this story to use Shala Ball was so important because
yeah,
now you have a mother herself who
hmm,
sacrificed herself for her world in order to save her world from Galactus eating it,
yeah,
just like with Vanessa Kirby Sue and her baby. And so having that dynamic was a great way to use Shala Ball. And it makes perfect sense for the movie. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to get Norin Rad. Like, we will definitely get him at some point and it'll be
yeah,
epic. But for this story in particular, it was extremely intelligent to use her in this way. And to
yeah,
have that relationship with Johnny, being able to say like speak her language and be like, you went through the same thing. You sacrificed yourself for your family, for your planet. And
yeah,
these are the voices in your language of the planets that you volunteered for Galactus to eat. And you
yeah,
should, like, do not do that to us. Help us, because we were now in the position that you were in. And so not
mm,
only are you giving depth to Johnny, who's such a great character, and
yep,
Joseph Quinn just completely transforms in his, like, I cannot wait to see him in the Beatles movie, man. Like, he is such a good actor. He
he's such
transforms.
a good actor.
Not only do we get him, but now we truly understand what Shala Ball's Silver Surfer's about, why
Yeah,
she is this way, why she's protecting Galactus. And it's just such a great organic way to give her backstory. And
yep,
Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, man, she was incredible,
great.
right?
Great.
She,
So much work she had to do with just her eyes because she's encased in all this CGI. And she still found a way to show so much emotional depth in her
really.
face through all of it.
And it looked really good. Like, a lot of people were worried. People don't understand, man. When you see the trailer, they're still working on the VFX. They're
Yeah,
working on it up until like
the
the
week
day,
of.
the day release, like, and so when you see it in person, you're like, wow, it looks like or tangible. It looks real,
It
and you
looks
can.
cool
It
too.
looks metallic and cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing with Silver Surfer is like even in the comics, he could look not cool if you don't design him properly. So the fact that she did
Yes.
look cool really, really helped. And one note I want to say about her in her relationship to Galactus. So
Yeah.
Galactus was cursed with his hunger and basically his trauma. And in him picking a herald, he's doing the same thing that's done to him to these heralds. And I find that very, very interesting
Yeah.
that
Hurt people.
he's
Hurt people.
yeah, and it's really great. And I wonder if we get to see these characters again, if that gets explored a little bit. Like you're doing the thing that's done to you, you're doing to other people.
Absolutely. And what I really loved is when she, can't take the voices of the people that suffered and died, she goes up
Yeah,
into the sky and she's in the silhouette of the moon, and it's such a Jack Kirby like esque picture of, you know, he like Silver Surfer is on the moon a lot, like stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
to use it in that way, I tried to look for a picture, I couldn't. To use it in that way, it was just such a great homage to Jack Kirby of it all, and it was so beautifully done, and it was so quiet up there when Johnny comes up there in flames, and the juxtaposition of cold metal and hot fire, that, you know, them two together, it was just so
Mm,
organic and beautiful to
yeah.
see. And so I really, really love that part of it. I mean, Matt Shackman, man, like people are not speaking enough, but these are two just solid bangers with WandaVision and this. Like, I wouldn't have been mad if he got X-Men if they had announced that. Like, I'm not mad
Yeah.
about the
Jack
other.
Strafer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not mad about him at all. But I think an Avengers movie is in his purview in the next
Mm,
7 to 8 years. I think, you
yeah.
know, I think, you know, a lot can change in 2032, but either
Yeah.
an Avengers movie or some kind of team up, but
Yeah.
something big is coming
So,
for him
yeah.
because
Something even bigger than this. Yeah.
he was masterful. And I hope we don't get a Shang-Chi where we just never get a sequel. Like this is too important just to like be like, oh well, Doomsday's their sequel. No, there needs to be a next sequel because there's so
Yeah.
many great Fantastic Four stories. But
Yeah.
so I want to move on to the final battle, right? So they come up with this idea to transport their entire universe, and the whole world works together. This is the first time everyone has consolidated resource and worked together in unison, something that we'll never ever see. And so it was like, oh, this is beautiful to see. Like this
Definitely a different universe.
100%, 100%, not ours, not my universe.
Not my universe.
And so they have this plan, right? And so, you know, Silver Surfer or Galactus comes, you know, drops down into the water, which just looks incredible. I'm just going to go back to this bad boy, you know, walking through the city, the views, the camera views up at him are just so epic. You know what I mean? So I just want to pick your brain a little bit because it seems like a lot of people were saying that, you know, back to the classic Marvel trope of, you know, the city's being destroyed and they got to fight the big bad and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But we have depth and context to why this is happening. We
Yeah.
understand it more because of what came before in this movie. I just want to pick your brain. Did this third act battle in New York? They never said New York City.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way, or did it not even phase you at all? Were you just already in it by that point?
I think you hit it on the head where like the context really matter. It wasn't just an alien invasion that just so happened to happen in a city. It wasn't like they're just doing this battle here just cause. There
Right.
was something in the city that Galactus wanted. If that thing was on the ocean, if it was in a rural town, he would have been
Mm-hmm.
there. So it's not like he just came to the city to come to the city. Just so happened that's where the Fantastic Four lives, and they set it up in a way that was really, really smart. She destroyed all these towers everywhere else. And the last tower that they could use to transport this big piece of crap was where they live in a city. And I thought it was great that they did the thing where like they evacuated all the humans. So we didn't even have to think about, oh, they destroyed these buildings and there were humans there. Like the whole thing that people talk about after these movies happen. So could the battle been a little bit more creative and longer? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
the setup and what happened has so much emotional take on it that I didn't mind.
You know, the thing with Galactus is you're never going to beat Galactus. You can only
No.
get away from Galactus or move him away from you because it's too much. You know what I mean? Like it's not feasible that a rubber band is going to beat a Galactus. Like, it's just not. And so I totally understand that. And I get that this made sense for Galactus, is either getting them away from him or
Yeah.
getting him away, because a rubber band is just going to get stretched and almost die. And so, I that did not rub me the wrong way. That made total sense for the story. And I
Yeah.
really love that about the story. On top of that, the imagery of Galactus,
Mm,
the
so
suit,
good.
the texture of the suit. I don't remember those little nodules on the back. Like, we don't know the name of it, but where it
Yeah.
connects to the feeding tube so he can digest these planets, and it's like feeding in, it's like fire spilling out. It was
Yeah.
like beautiful and epic. Like, I was
Yeah.
just totally engaged. Like, wow, this is like, I get Reed is a rubber band. Like, he can't do anything, but at least he can slow him down. And that was cool to me. You know what I
The fact
mean?
that he was even smart enough to go up there and do that to him, and how
Yes.
painful it caused him to be, is just that Reed also can't move super fast, so he got caught.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. And so we get to the crux of it. The things are destroyed. And the only thing that we can do now is have the team push him into the black hole and close it
Yeah.
off and get him out of here as far away as possible. So it'll take him billions of years to come back. You know what I mean? Like, something crazy. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Whoever is alive then can worry about it, kind of thing.
yeah. And so we didn't give him a lot of love, but Eben Moss Bacharach's representation of this character, I'm going to say it again, is the best representation of the Thing in comics. I mean, in movies.
In movies, yeah.
This is exactly who he is in the comics, down to being Jewish. They didn't necessarily have to say it, but him having some kind of affection for Natasha Lyonne, who's obviously a rabbi or a Jewish teacher at a synagogue. It
Yeah.
was really cool to see without shoving it in your face.
Yep.
It was subtle and kind of beautiful, because I thought they're just not going to mention it, kind of just to not have any controversy, or you know what I mean, anything about it.
Yeah, especially right now. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Tensions are high, so I completely understand that. Why they wouldn't,
Yeah.
but the way that they did it, they didn't shy away from it. And then on top of that, we were talking about this before. The way that he interacts with Johnny, it's not so much catty like it is in like the 2000s movies where they like hate each other. It's more like how brothers interact with each other. And it was really beautiful to see that, like, these two, when Reed and Sue are off canoodling and trying to make a baby or whatever, these two are the ones hanging out, talking to each other, vibing with each other. They love each other. They are brothers, like, through and through. Like, me and Erica are leaning over to each other like, these guys are such brothers. Like, they love each other, And so I love that they got that dynamic right. And then with the interactions, like we talked about with Sue and with Reed, and don't call her sexy, that line, stop calling her sexy. He's just funny and real, and Eben is the only person like that could play this right. It was so, and the CG was not bad, and the beard of it all is so comic booky, which is fantastic that they can do that. I'm going to keep saying it, I guess. And so it was just so good. And then the crux of it, it's clobbering time. Like, that's from the show.
I love
the
that
animated show. And then, Johnny being like, say the thing, man. Like, it's time to rock. You got to hit, like, oh, no pun intended. You got to hit him in the face. Let's go. And Johnny going to save him, which is like, that's my brother. I gotta go fly and save him.
Gotta go get him. Yeah.
And so say the thing, and we see it in the trailer, but we see it finally him say it's clobbering time, knock out Galactus a little, not really, but
Not too much. Yeah.
it was his moment. And I just have to say, man, what a great character. I think the reason why I saw this movie twice in the same weekend is because, like, I don't want to stop hanging out with these four.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. That's
I
kind of
love
like
them.
my minor gripe about the film is it's just too short for me.
More
I
time.
know you did a good job of saying that it's well paced, nothing like spent too much time, and I wouldn't extend too many of the scenes. I do think maybe the beginning could have been a little longer in terms of
Yeah,
actually showing the ray hitting them and how that effect of them transforming.
that would have
I
been
think
cool.
that would have been
Yeah,
really cool. I would have loved, and a lot of people say there's not enough action in the film. I do think that maybe seeing them beat Mole Man and Red Ghost would have been really great.
yeah.
Seeing them successfully work in tandem against a villain before they fight Galactus and get their booty spanked from a lot of it would have been really, really good.
No, I agree. I agree. And there's definitely nitpicky things that I
Yeah,
think, could have worked, could have been added to make the movie even more epic. But like with Superman, they are not in a position to keep it loose. They have to keep it tight and they need a win,
yeah,
a solid
yeah,
win. And so I completely understand. I think, a 2 hour, 12 minute, right? Something, that's like an extra 10 right there. Not too
yeah.
bad. Now though that you brought him up,
Oh my god.
what did you think, brother? What did you think? Paul
Oh
Walter
my
Hauser,
god.
beautiful.
So good. So good. I saw some reviews saying they didn't really like that he just kind of felt like he was playing himself, but I thought he was
Really?
just great. Yeah.
He had
I
that
thought he was
accent,
great.
that,
Yeah.
60s kind of
Yeah. He definitely leaned into it.
gentlemanly accent, like not I'm not gonna do it, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it, he had like that little accent, and I like that. I agree with you. I would have loved to see more Mole Man, like defeating
Yeah.
him and then him becoming a politician. It happened very quickly.
Yeah.
But his representation of the Subterranean Union.
Yeah.
But the way that they used him, Paul Walter Hauser is just such a great actor that when he comes on screen, you're like, here we go. This is gonna be good. And
Yeah.
so when he comes in and Vanessa's like, you're not gonna like it, but I got someone that can help us out. And he comes in, he's like, I get to see where the sausage is made. And then he's like,
Yeah.
I want him to ask me because he's like, I'm as smart as Richard or Reed Richards. Like, he's not that great, like jealous,
Yeah.
right? And loves Sue, who's like this beautiful, like great
He
person
definitely
that
loves Sue.
advocates for everyone, and he's like, I'm sorry, Sue. People can't take a joke in this climate. It's like, and then he's like, I want you to butter it on, Reed. You butter me up. And it's like, I loved him. I loved him.
Yeah.
Paul Walter Hauser, one of the best doing it right now. And so
Yeah.
it just adds to the texture of this movie with the lived in universe. Like with such a small role, it felt like we knew the dynamic without even having to tell us. That is
Yep.
just great storytelling right there.
Because
You
it's
know what I
great
mean?
writing. It's great
It
writing when they
is.
can remind you of dynamics that you've seen in real life. Like, oh, I know exactly how he feels about everyone and how they feel about him in this moment. And Sue kind of have to be in between it all the time. So that was great.
Absolutely.
Also, this movie's not to say it's not funny, but it's not funny like how MCU movies usually try to be, where it feels like they're trying to tell jokes every 30 seconds. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of that in here. So it
It's just
was really
people's
cool to
being
have that.
gripe.
Yeah, I think that burst of laughter right there at that moment was really good. I think him coming in and being funny for like 2 to 3 minutes in the film was really, really solid. Because the movie overall is not like but I didn't mind that because I was more emotionally invested
No, I think
in
you're
the movie.
right. It diffused like the tension for a minute. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I missed out on this. I want that Herbie robot so bad.
Oh yeah.
And that's a great transition because I think another offset character was Herbie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude, they're selling this for like 150. I'm not getting that. um darn, I want a Herbie like right back there. I just
Yeah.
thought, you know, how do you tell the story of a robot butler for the family without telling the story? Exactly how they did it in the movie because
Yeah.
just like with Mole Man, without having to do any background junk, any setting up, you already understand that like Herbie is this kind of like sentient robot who
Yep.
is the nanny, who is the butler, who is the assistant, who is the friend, giving
Yep.
Johnny a sandwich when he's decoding the language. Like, it's just like Herbie is just so great. And I loved him in this movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it was like a Groot element where we didn't understand what he was saying, but they all did.
yeah, it was a Groot. It was a Groot moment for sure. I love that about it. And I
Yeah.
love the cassette face, you know, and
Yeah.
it had a purpose. You know what I
Their
mean?
files or vinyls. I love that too. There's a lot of world building stuff that's really cool in here that I was like, someone
Yeah.
suggested that when Secret Wars happens and it brings all the worlds together and we have one timeline, that we just have this as the timeline, this 60 futuristic era. And as much as I like it, it's not going to work for every hero. I think that's the only issue. What I would
Yeah.
like if this era, like this thing, when they do merge everything, is just a Fantastic Four city. Like when you come to this city, they live, and this is their culture. Is very 60s. They're very futuristic. I know that's very DC, where like DC has different.
Yeah.
Every city
It's
feels
very
different.
New Asgard, they could do it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, let New Asgard be on Earth and it feel like Asgard. Like you go to these places and it feels otherworldly, and that's just the world they live in now. I
Right.
think they should do that.
I think you're right because at this point, superheroes exist. We already know like gods exist. This exists. Like we've been through the Thanos. We're going to go through the Doomsday. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you can now, sorry, James, but we can do it too. Like
Yeah,
they built all that stuff. So I
yeah,
think you're right. I brought this picture up just to show you, you know what I mean? That this is just the set design itself, especially with the Baxter building. It's one of the best sets Marvel has ever made. Like
agreed.
when you look at this, it is just insanely beautiful, insanely detailed, and tells you so much about the world without having to say any words. And that is like one of the best things about set design in general, but specifically for Fantastic Four First Steps. The set design in this is a character in itself, and it makes the movie even that much better.
Yep,
So I really think, like we keep talking about, the cylinders, they're just going off on every cylinder, knocking it out of the park.
everything.
And that is what the MCU was built on. You know what I mean? Is those first couple of phases, regardless of how you feel about, I mean, I really think Thor 1 is an extremely underrated comic book movie. Like extremely. It is beautiful, and to think back then, that stuff does not work all the time, especially back then when people are not
Yeah.
accustomed to like otherworldly things being grounded, And so, just like with
Yeah.
Thor, this is otherworldly and so grounded in reality at the same time. And it's not an easy balance. You know what I mean?
Yep. I definitely agree with you totally on that. I think even like Captain America: First Avenger is a film that I think is highly underrated.
I do too.
Yeah, this movie feels like a mixture of the things that worked in phase 1 through 3, but also works in phase 4 and 5.
Yes. Yes.
In
It's the
terms
bridge.
of it's the bridge. It's what was missing from 4 and 5. Even though I like a lot of 4 and 5,
And I do
the
too.
TV
And I
show.
do too.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
listening to what you were telling me, off camera that because Zach and I text him all the time. Like I love talking to him about this stuff. And so
yeah.
and I don't like having a one-track mind. Like they all suck. When you really look at it, I mean, it's more than 50% that are still really entertaining and good.
I think way more. Yeah, for me, like,
I'm being,
yeah,
in the middle.
fair to yeah.
I'm trying to be fair and honest, but I really think you're right in the sense that this is the perfect movie to be a bridge to what we
Mhm.
love from the past and push us to the future.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk a little bit about the ending,
Mhm.
with Sue going, Super Saiyan and just,
Yeah.
so much so that we get to the point where, and you know what happens. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Oh, a different old face.
Yeah, this is a oh no face because
Yeah.
she uses her power. She just showed she's the most powerful actually, and she never got that representation. So
Yeah.
much so that she's able to force Galactus into the black hole, and they close it off. And that moment right before this, where Johnny is just so selfless and is like, "Tell my nephew I love him," and
Yeah.
goes to push him and sacrifice himself, and finally,
Yeah.
Silver Surfer does the right thing, pushes him out of the way, and she's the one to push herself and Galactus into the wormhole.
And the way it was done was so good because I completely forgot about her. So I was like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Johnny's gone. They're going to have to figure out how to try to get him back, or we'll have 3 of the Fantastic Four
Right.
in Doomsday. And then maybe when Secret Wars happens, they find him
Yeah.
somewhere or something like that. And then
We're
she
all
comes
thinking
in.
like how Doomsday could be, because even when that happened with Sue, she uses
Yeah.
her powers so much that it takes it out of her, and we're like, no way, like okay, like I guess she could die, and it's it's just gonna be them 3. Like I'm doing the same math in my head because we know they're gonna be such an integral part in Doomsday. I'm like, okay, like you said, multiverse, another Sue, blah blah blah, and then we're like, they're really gonna kill her? Like this is wild. And I look over to my wife, and she's like getting like teary-eyed, and then it's making me teary-eyed, like seeing her reaction and being like, are they really going to kill her? And then and the actors, like Pedro's just so good, and he puts Franklin on her chest, and Franklin, who's played by a girl named Ada, I just saw
really?
today, really cute, really
Adorable.
cute, adorable.
Those eyes. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so much. And so she brings her back, or he brings her back, the character Franklin brings her back. The eyes light up like cosmic. Stars. And it's like, okay, not only do we get her back, we truly see the first sign of how powerful this kid is and is going to be. And I just really loved how they played with our heartstrings in this scene. And I don't know. I mean, what did you think of this moment?
So I have thoughts. So one thing we haven't talked about was the score of this film. Michael Giacchino did a phenomenal job of
Cylinders.
having it sound old but still new at the same time, where it doesn't sound hokey, but it still sounds epic. And that Fantastic Four, like they kept doing it in the trailers and became a meme, but in the movie, that shit slaps. But
Mm-hmm.
but what's great about this scene is the lack of score. is there's no score when we think she's dead. We're just hearing the natural sounds that's happening in the film. And the fact that it happened is this, it creates this stillness where they're looking over her and she's not moving. And I'm like, is Sue dead? It made me question it once again. I was talking about
I
it
didn't
earlier
even
with the
get
chase
that.
scene.
Yeah, because I was so in it.
There's
Wow.
there's no score. Yeah, you're so in it, but I realized like there's no score. We're just hearing the wind and the sounds and the building crumbling, and we're them sniffling. And once again, this movie did a great job of immersing me in this, knowing like there's no way Sue dies.
No way.
You know, and like there's no way they were in danger during the chase scene. There's no way, but the way you did this made me go, oh shoot, they're really gonna kill her. And a theory I'm hearing. But first, before I get to the theory, what I thought was interesting is when she got resurrected, the purpleness looks like
Malice. No, I'm just
when
kidding.
Thor when Thor sees eternity in Love and Thunder, that purple cosmic energy, it looks like that.
Thought the same thing. Or you know what I thought? Star-Lord.
I was
Remember?
about to say that too. Yep, that's also cosmic as well.
Got your back.
And what I found interesting, someone said online that maybe he didn't resurrect her, that he altered reality and he created a different reality now. So there's a reality where Sue died, and now there's a reality where she lived. And that might affect things because that in the comics, that's what's Franklin's power. He's a reality manipulator.
Yes.
So it's not that he can resurrect people or he resurrected her, is that he affected reality. And now there's a Earth 8382, and that's where she lives. And that's the one where she lives on. And that would make sense why Doom would want him, because Doomsday and Secret Wars is about creating a different reality. So if he has Franklin that can manipulate it, boom.
You want to get to it?
Yeah.
You want to get to it?
Let's talk about it. I know. The biggest jump scare of the live screen. I was like, oh.
So, you know, I put a short out earlier today.
Yeah.
Just to let the fans know, stay for the end credits. There's 2 end credits. There is a mid-credit scene that is integral to what is coming next in the MCU, and then there is a fun end credit scene that is whatever. That pays off on something, you know, with the animated show from the beginning, which was cute.
Yeah.
So, we get Doom, and we find out through the director that this scene was indeed filmed by the Russo brothers, and that this is indeed Robert Downey Jr. wearing the cape and the hood.
Yeah.
And I have to say, in my theater, twice, I'll say this. The first time, Thursday night, opening night, big pop. Everyone was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
This last night, I had a lady next to me that was like, who is that?
Yep.
So you're going to get a mix. I think that's completely natural. For me, for us, we knew it was coming. We've heard, this leaked and this is what it was. And we're like, maybe they would change it. Maybe this is a throw off, or they did not. They did not change it. This is indeed what we heard was going to happen, where Vanessa's Sue goes away. Vanessa. And when she comes back, she sees you can't see his face, Dr. Doom playing with the baby, and the baby touching his face, him holding his Doom mask. And I thought it was great. And I think it also adds to the old MCU movies where finally, just like with Thunderbolts, where it's hitting all the cylinders, another cylinder with the MCU is the end credit scenes where does this matter? Make this matter. And so I get it. Also, like my friend was like, I don't know if they needed that. I'm like, bro, they spent like $1 billion on the next 2 films. Like they need to promote it now. So yes, they need to put it in there. So I thought it was fantastic. And I really think this movie in general, now that we are at the end of the movie, we're at the end credit scene. In my mind, the way that I felt once I saw this was like, I have a lot of faith that Doomsday is going to be a good movie now, based on what I'm seeing from the direction of this movie to Kevin Feige finally getting back to the formula that we love, and the characters and the actors that inhabit them in this movie are going to be an integral part in that story. My feeling once this ended was like, we are actually back to where we were, back to where we need to be in order for these next two movies to be fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know, because I know that the Thunderbolts end credit scene and this end credit scene were both directed by the Russo brothers.
Yes.
I don't know if I like that because the look of the end credit scene is so different from the movie look.
You think so? With this
yeah,
in particular?
because this scene looks like the Thunderbolt scene in terms of colors and how everything looks. It looks way different from the cinematography and the feel. Like even the suits of the Thunderbolts look different from how they wore them in Thunderbolts. Like they were a little bulkier.
Well, yeah, they got the upgrade. Yeah, it's shinier.
Yeah,
it's
shiny and stuff like that. I think everything looks shinier in what the Russo brothers are doing. So it is a little jarring for me in terms of that. I feel like usually end credit scenes don't feel like that different from the original movie. So I thought that was weird, but it's fine. I understand that it makes sense for the director who's directing the big thing to make sure that the small things that are leading to it look like the big thing. So when you get into it, you're like, oh, okay, this looks exactly like what they teased. I also love that, like you're saying, an end credit scene that we know that's going to pay off. Like there's been a lot of cool end credit scenes in Phase 4 and 5 that we haven't gotten payoffs for. And like the one with Ant-Man, is he in a different universe? Because there's this whole thing where he walked and he felt like something was wrong. Shang-Chi with the beacon, Star Fox, and I feel like maybe all that stuff gets wrapped up in these next two movies, right? Like they tell us what that beacon was. They tell us where Ant-Man was, and maybe it's another situation where Ant-Man has to come out of the thing again and come and save everybody, and all these different things. But we're gonna get that'd be funny. We would get these natural payoffs. This one is like, oh, this is the villain of the next movie, and he's securely tied into the Fantastic Four mythos, so it makes sense for his first appearance to be here. I wish the execution was a little bit better. I don't know if they were scared to show Robert Downey Jr. yet, or they didn't want to pay him. But I wish it was a situation where it was him walking out of the shadows like a Nick Fury.
And he's like, we're building a team. No, I'm just kidding.
No, just like, I need the baby. And you're like, what? Like, we just went through this.
Yeah.
But he actually like picks up Franklin and walks off. That would have been amazing. I get why they wouldn't want to do that, but if like you put all your eggs in a basket. Doom is the guy. Let the general audience know this is the guy. Because right now, this just seems like this might be the villain for people who are not initiated like us. This might be the villain for Fantastic Four 2. Not
like the girl next to me who is like, who is that? Like, I don't know what's going on. You know, like she probably, if she saw Downey, she'd be like, so you think if they showed maybe Downey's eyes or part of his face or something, that the impact would have been even greater, that you would have liked that a little bit better?
I think the online discussion about this movie is more about the film itself than anything about this after credit scene.
And that's why they did it also, I think, right? Didn't show Downey's face.
Yeah. But also, I think at this point, you need people to get hype about the future. Like, I want people to talk about this movie because it's fantastic. But we do need people to get back on the train of like, I need to see the Spider-Man Brand New Day, because how is that going to now tie into it? And then how is it leading into Doomsday? I just want people to be excited about the MCU. Me personally, I'm watching everything they do. They haven't let me down too many times, so I'm still on board. But for general audiences, I want it. So when I'm at work, I go, hey, are you going to watch Fantastic Four? And they're like, no. Like, that's the reaction I've been getting. Are you going to watch Superman? No. But I wanted to be like, holy crap. So I think let's explain it so I'm not talking long-winded. The reason why the MCU was successful is because comic book fans were so excited about it, and then general audiences didn't want to miss the party. So they joined in on the party. And then we
Yeah.
kept being excited because we could follow along the thread lines. Oh, this means this to the next. So you got to watch this
Yeah.
so you understand what's happening next. So General
Did you
Audience is
see
like,
the
oh,
last
okay.
one? You know, like, yeah, like the
Yeah.
water cooler talk, like you didn't want to miss out or else you'd be lost in the sauce.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now comic book fans are not doing that anymore because there's not a lot of comic book references. And I talked about this in my actual review of the movie where these films have been referencing the MCU so much instead of actually referencing the comics. So now comic book fans are not as excited because they're like going to these stories,
Good
not
point.
knowing the connect. Like Ant-Man doesn't fight Kang. That's not a comic book thing that you get attached to, right? The Thunderbolts, while I love that movie, that's not the Thunderbolts. Things like that
Yeah.
is what is hurting the momentum of the MCU to me more than just like too much stuff. It's like the comic fans getting excited so that the general audience people are like, oh, I can't miss this party.
Right. Right. And I think and also on this show, Zach, you can go long-winded. I love your take. So never feel that you can't go on a long-winded tangent.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you, and I tend to also realize that that's why people are loving this movie so much, is because it doesn't have the baggage of the past 20 almost 20 years of the MCU that it
Yeah.
can live and breathe on its
Also,
own, and you don't need to see what came before. And I hope they can learn a lesson that after whatever happens with Secret Wars, I get it, like there's going to be a reset. It's going to be one solid timeline again. But does it have to be? Because now you're going to be beholden back to what got you in that mess. We don't see it as a mess, but you know what I mean? General audience mess. Again, because it's going to be one timeline and you're going to have to see what came before again. Didn't this prove that to Feige and team? Didn't this prove that people want all else world, sorry, DC, stories, that they don't necessarily need everything to be connected? Like, yes, you did, you know, Eternals, Black Widow, you know, things that aren't connected, but really they are in the same world and the same history of the universe. This was such a breath of fresh air because it didn't have all that baggage. It could live and breathe on its own. And so it's like, are you sure you want to go back to a single timeline and just tell the sacred timeline stories again? Or did this change your mind? And after Secret Wars, we're going to have even more worlds we can explore that we don't need to just stay in the MCU every time we have a movie coming out. That's what I'm wondering, because this worked so well. Do you need to reset it to one timeline again and have that baggage again? You know what I mean? Like, I think you did the thing. We're past it. Let's keep going because this worked. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to do DC, but Clayface will work. You know, like the Batman is working. So I'm just curious, like, Feige, are you sure this is what you want to get back to? Is the old way of connectivity? Or is this the new way and they can meet like they do with the CW shows in an event series and then go back to the other universe? You know what I mean? Like,
I think they need to find a middle ground. So we do have one timeline, but every move, if it's a solo movie, whether you're a team, I count this as a solo movie because they're a team. Like, we're not watching Mr. Fantastic by himself. Nobody want to see that.
Yeah.
So if you are a solo team, you're a solo person, it's your story, it's your supporting characters, it's your villains, and that's how we go. And then when you interact with other characters is when the big event happens. That's what was the strength of that was what the strength of the first couple phases were, where you didn't have to worry too much about watching. You didn't have to watch Captain America movies if you were only interested in Iron Man movies,
because it was
new, and also every one of his movies was just him and his people. They didn't really mix other people in his, like Captain America, obviously Civil War, they did that, right? It was almost like an Avengers film.
Right.
But for the most part, Ragnarok had Hulk, but Hulk is a floaty character, so that's fine. But it was
So
like,
good.
you have Loki, you have all these characters that are involved with him. So Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, same thing. It was his characters, his villains. So they need to go back to having stories like this where you focus on these characters, don't worry about cameoing other people in there, and just make this individual story great and be inspired by the comics, because these characters have carried comics for 80 years. So they can carry
100%.
movies.
Yeah, they can. You've done it before. You know what I mean? Like you can do it
Yeah.
again. And so
Yeah.
I want to ask you, now that you've seen Fantastic Four, you've had a
Yeah.
little bit of time to digest it.
Yeah.
Is this a potential, and you don't need to go through it, the ranks or anything like that, a
Mhm.
top 10 MCU film?
Ooh, I can't put it in the 10 yet, but it's definitely in the 15.
Okay. Potential 10 with sitting with
I gotta,
sit with it,
yeah,
watch it
all my
again.
10 I've rewatched multiple times.
100%.
I've only seen this once, so I need to like rewatch it again.
Okay.
I want to see it in IMAX. I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to. Actually, I might watch it next weekend, because I think next week is The Bad Guys and Naked Gun. I might not watch any of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I want
So
to watch The Naked Gun, but I also would like to see Superman one more time before it leaves theaters. I do. Just so I
that
can,
makes sense.
twice with Fantastic Four, twice with
This
Superman.
is Superman.
I want to see it potentially, with my brother if I get a chance during the week or the weekend. But the best thing about these, and I agree with you, I think it is a potential top 10 movie. We need to sit with it a little bit more. Top
Yeah.
10 MCU. But this is peak Marvel, where everything is firing every cylinder down
It's
to
fine.
the composition, the score, the characters, the acting, the storytelling, the visuals, the special effects,
The
and so
conversations.
the conversations,
That's important. Every phase one,
yes,
2, and 3 film, there's an important conversation that you can just pull out and make a
yes,
tribute video
the
from.
quiet moments, like
Yeah.
I mean, the first one of the ones that is off the top of my head is just Tony and Cap chopping wood and getting, that
Yeah. Age of
conversation
Ultron.
right there. Like that is what we used to like love, is the quiet moments, not the action
Yeah.
moments. And with this
Tony having
movie,
what's that? Iron Man 3, when he has the panic attacks.
yeah, with
Something
the
like
when he's
that.
talking to the kid and he has to like
Yeah.
go off and he's like covering his mouth, like that is the small moments that we care about. And so it makes me very happy that we got back to that place, and it
Yeah.
makes me very confident that that will roll into Doomsday, because just
Yeah.
like in Infinity War and Endgame, when Thor's talking to Rocket,
Mhm.
and in Endgame when they're on the table, laying on the table, just trying to figure out like the
I love that.
timeline, like all of it, and those quiet moments, that is where you win. And so I'm so glad that we got back to a place. I'm glad that you and I could dive into it. I mean, I think it's so much that we could talk about still, but I
Yeah.
think we covered a good amount. This movie,
Lots.
I love it. I really love it.
Me too.
It doesn't mean that there's not some issues with it. You can find issues with any movie that
Yeah.
you see, but I do think this is why people fell in love with MCU in the first place.
Yep.
So
I agree.
So yeah, is there anything else you want to add about the movie or where we're
If you've
going?
been hesitated with Fantastic Four, if you're like, oh, this is just Incredibles ripoff, which Incredibles ripped off the Fantastic Four first, just go see it, man. It's so you will go. I can't see anyone hating this movie. Oh, that's not true. People will find a way, but like normal, sane human beings who are not on the internet all day hating on stuff will find something to love it. A visual feast. If you love sci-fi films, this is such a just a standalone. It's just a really good sci-fi film. Then when you
100%.
add the comic book layer, it's a great movie. It's not perfect. It's not a 5 out of 5,
Nope.
but it's a great film.
It's a great film. It's a great time in the theater. Like, this is something that you should go with your friends, with your loved ones, with your parents, with your grandparents. Like, this is something like you should experience with the people that you love, with your family. Like, this
Yeah.
is, at the end of the day, a movie about family. And,
Yeah.
you know, this movie made Vin Diesel very proud.
That's hilarious. But yeah, he would been like, yes, this is my
Yeah.
favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, he probably saw it. I mean, he's got the access. Groot, you
Yeah,
know?
he is Groot. I could see him potentially being a different character as himself in that voice, like live action in the MCU.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
Black Bolt.
I think there's more. Yeah, that's what everyone has wanted for a long time. I think it's time to get back to that place. I also
Yeah.
think this is what Marvel had intended for the Eternals to be. This movie is what they had hoped Eternals would be to the audience. And I like Eternals. My wife and I watched it multiple times. I might put it on tonight. But we watched Incredibles 2 after last night.
Nice.
Just to like keep it going, relive it, something, because you saw my out of the theater reaction. I was like, The Incredibles is no longer the best Fantastic Four movie. This is.
Yeah.
I knew you would get that one. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think. Do you guys, agree that this is, potential top 10? Did it not really, do it for you? Have you seen it yet? Hopefully you have, if you watch this video. Zach, where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, you can find me at Zach Attack Reviews on YouTube, and on social media you can find me as Zach Attack RVS, because reviews is too long of a word for social media apparently. I'm on Threads, Facebook, Instagram. I quit Twitter/X because it's toxic as hell, so you can find me everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I know I said I wasn't going to watch Bad Guys 2 or Naked Gun, but I probably am, because I'm addicted to watching new movies. And so you should be seeing a new review from me about those films. You can check out my Fantastic Four review on my channel.
Fantastic. Yeah, I really want to see the Naked Gun. I think getting back to a place where we can enjoy spoof movies, I think it's important to the fabric of film in general, and that thing looks hella funny. So
it looks hella funny.
But watch the Fantastic Four, you guys. Watch it again. It gets better as you watch it. Like I said, I don't watch movies twice in the same weekend at least. And I don't know. It was crappy weather. I'm like, do you want to just go to the Draft House, like have dinner there, and we can just see it again? And my wife also is not the biggest movie goer, was like, yeah, I would definitely see it again.
That's good.
So it says something. And so shoot your comments below. Let us know what you thought of the movie. And Zach and I will find a time. I mean, man, we've been getting all the big ones. I'm like, what is left? What is left this summer?
I was just watching. There's nothing left for the summer. The next big like tentpole film is in October. Okay. Jesus.
Maybe. Dang. Okay. Maybe we can do. I don't know. There's some
best
stuff
films of the
out.
summer.
Yeah, we could do best films of summer. We could also do possibly Wonder Man after shows together.
Mm-hmm.
Track
I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for that. So there's some fun stuff. Stay tuned. Follow Zach, follow his videos. They're fantastic. Check me out, the Evan edition. I'm not using my X anymore, so probably will get rid of that. But check out the TikTok, Threads, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And we will see you guys next time. Yeah. All I have to say is,
oh my God.
Fantastic Four.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.